What's poppin', sip and see? It's me, Keisha, aka Color Me Pynk, and I'm here with this week's All Tea, All Shade. Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 17. So, on this week's episode, we pick up where we left off last week with the Mel visiting Kiki at her home, and she's brought up the Crime Stoppers incident and how Tiffany brought it up to her the last time she linked up with her. Kiki says she can't discuss anything because the lawyers are involved, but she insists that she has not relapsed, but she understands that that's what people will not naturally assume of her. Kiki then goes on to say that Tisha was the last one to reach out. And I really like the way Mel handled this because she could have taken the opportunity to be shady, to instigate, to rev Kiki up, and she didn't. She did the total opposite. And she said, you got to remember that y'all are still walking through getting on the same page. So to expect this super concerned cousin, that would be the wrong expectation. Y'all really have gone through a lot, so it may take some time for her to get there. And I really respected that. She tried to, be realistic with the situation, but not down talk Tisha or make the situation work. She really tried to give her sound, realistic advice. And that shows the difference between them and her with how they have chosen to move forward and handle things. And I won't even say them more so than Marceau, who's keeping up the drama and the mess. Tisha hasn't done anything but continue to be doormat Tisha, but it is what it is. So Kiki was like, but regardless, I would have been there for her. And Mel was like, well, did you reach out to her when she was going through her stuff with Marceau and her mom? And Kiki was like, I don't feel comfortable reaching out to her about anything that has to do with Marceau. Mel says it's kind of a thing where both of you are rebuilding. Don't take everything to issue. And once again, I respected everything that Mel said because life is too short to be sitting up here tripping off everything that somebody do to you and keeping tally and this, that, and the third. Like, I just don't have time. I'm too damn tired and sleepy to be worried about what the next person doing or how they feel or why they ain't do this and da-da-da-da. Like, girl, bye. So Mel tells her that Tiffany invited her to her baby reveal. And she was like, if you come, just want you to know to be on point because people going to be asking you questions and have your answers prepared. And Kiki was like, oh, don't worry, I will. So after that, Tisha visits Marceau at their second house because they have 3 technically. They got the house on the rocks, the invisible house on the rocks out in no man's land. They have the house that they're renovating, and then they have the apartment that they're staying in until the second house is renovated. They might as well just stay in the second house that's being renovated because obviously that invisible house on the rock ain't getting built no time soon or never. So she asks how the deposition he had in court went. He said, everything went fine. They're suing someone in construction. Now, I don't know if he's suing the people that's helping them work on the invisible house or what, because they quickly sidestep that conversation. So Tisha then asks, what's the furniture budget for the renovations on the second house? Mind you, whatever they're over there doing looks really good. It looks modern and up to date. So they just, like I said, need to stay in that house and be done. He immediately get to going on some, can they rent to own or buy from China? And I'm like, did this man really just say on national television that he want to get some Rent-A-Center furniture? What is going on? But then you want to talk about how y'all do $1 million deals, and then you talking about going to Rent-A-Center. Like, it's just not adding up, my love. Like, what is going on? So Tisha was like, I know how we can be creative with the budget. You can spend it. You cannot spend it on your car. So he says that he spent his monthly allowance on wrapping his car and can't believe that she's asking him what he spent it on. And he gives her this whole guilt trip. I can't believe you asked me that, Tisha. Really, Tisha? Really? I don't ask you what you do with your money. Da-da-da-da-da. I use my money to help rebuild this house. And this just giving her the total guilt trip, which should have let her know right then and there that he was guilty of what she was accusing him for. But The more he goes on and on about it, she, of course, backs down and apologizes to him for asking him a question. And then turns around and says, well, I really wanted to ask you, can I get a new SUV? And he was like, yeah. Make it make sense, because none of this is adding up. If you over here stressing about how y'all gonna furniture this house and talking about some y'all need to get Renaissance furniture or wholesale furniture from China, but then you tell her, yeah, she can get another SUV. Like, I'm not understanding. You got money for a car, but you ain't got money for furniture? What in the ghetto is going on over there in the Scott's house? Child, all I know is that Marceau is literally the Simone Biles of verbal gymnastics when it comes to Tisha. Because all he got to do is just spew his little spiel, and she falls for it every time. Every time. Oh, Lord. Stormy meets with Tiffany to help with the baby reveal, child. And Tiffany tells her that Tisha is invited but hasn't RSVP'd. And so Stormy was like, I don't have an issue with Tisha, but more so I can't do, what'd she say? Basically something about she can't do that with him because he act like a biz naive. And he thinks he's the smartest person in the room when he's really an a-hole. And I was like, not only an a-hole, but the dumbest person in the room. So Kiki's coming to the baby reveal is brought up, and Stormy is shocked that Tiffany even invited her because she feels like every time they get together, they always arguing, which 9 times out of 10 they are. And Tiffany's like, why are you shocked that I invited Kiki? I feel like we have to move forward. I mean, as long as she doesn't take any locks or anything. And I was like, Tiffany, your mouth gonna get you slapped. You done dropped that load now. Somebody gonna punch you in your bottom lip with your mouth. Like, little snide comments like that ain't even necessary. And especially, like Kiki said, she thought y'all was moving forward and you still on some shady, funny stuff. So now when Kiki cuss you out, don't get to playing a victim and acting like she crazy because she didn't cuss you out when you keep on saying little slick stuff. Girl. So Stormy wasn't even engaging with her. She was like, girl, like, So Tiffany says that she's overwhelmed with motherhood and that Lou hasn't been around because he's been coaching at A&M and been on the road. So she basically been a single mama, and then she got her other son and all of this stuff. So she says she cries and breaks down often. And Stormy was like, you know, it's okay not to be okay. And they both tear up and start hugging. The one thing that I will say about this scene was that it's really good to see how far Stormy and Tiffany have come and that they have built this friendship, which is shocking. And I do feel bad for Tiffany as far as, you know, her having postpartum or, you know, just struggling with this baby and pretty much doing it on her own. And I don't know why Lou has checked out. Like, I don't know what that's about. Maybe he really honestly just didn't want to have no more kids and only did it to appease her. I don't know, but it's a hot stinking trifling mess over there. And the therapist, what's the therapist's name? He tried to tell him, but they ain't want to listen. And that's why they in the predicament they in now. So Marceau and Tisha have date night with the Fletchers. And as soon as the Fletchers get there, they cut to the chase and ask why they weren't invited to the Black Expo. So Marceau was like, I didn't know what y'all did. I thought Fletch made a lot of money and you were his pretty wife. This look condescending prick. Like, what would make you think it's okay to say that to somebody? So Chris in his confession was like, we are the original black power couple in Huntsville. And Nell was like, yeah, maybe in 29 years, the Scotts will catch up to us. Okay? So Tisha was like, she has a whole daycare. And Nell says, for 29 years, like looking at him like, don't play with me. And so Marceau says, have you ever told me that? And Chris was like, yes, I have. We were going to do business together. Like, stop playing. So Marceau was like, I didn't think about it, so I apologize. Nell says, I don't believe you. And I like the fact that Nell didn't sugarcoat nothing, like, okay, I don't believe it, but whatever. So Marceau says, I thought you were friends with people we weren't in a good place with, so it would seem weird if we invited the Holtz friends and me and the Holtz weren't in a good place. That's how we met you. Okay, say that, because that's the real actual reason why you didn't invite them. It had nothing to do with the fact that you didn't know what they did for a living. You just told on yourself. Once again, like Stormy said, he liked to pretend like he the brightest person in the room when really he's the dumbest. Just say that. You ought to act like you so forthcoming about everything and so blunt. Just say that in the beginning instead of beating around the bush. So Nell was like, I don't operate like this. This is not high school or college, my love. And Tisha was like, we have a line drawn right there, basically saying, you know, things are still very contentious with the Holtz or whatever. Nell in her confession was like, it got to be Mel because they're friends with Martell. Exactly. Like, let's stop playing these games. So Nell was like, well, I heard nobody wanted to speak because y'all didn't want to pay nobody. Nell messy. Nell said, we gonna earn this check and become the next actual couple on this show and not no friends of, okay? So Marceau was like, what we did was not charge them to speak. We paid for this out of pocket. When we say this is a philanthropic endeavor, you can say I'm out. I don't do anything for free. I can respect that. But what you're not going to do is be a part of it, but I deserve to get paid. I normally charge for this. If you deserve to get paid, then you're going to have to show me what you've done. And at this point right now, you may not have done enough to get paid. Show me a solid business because I'm not going to pay you to talk about your t-shirt business. Now, first of all, that was a dumb statement. So what we did was not charge them to speak. Who charges somebody to speak at their event? Like, shut up. That was the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. Then he was throwing slick shade at Mel. He's mad and he's salty because Mel didn't want to participate in that little rinky-dink thrift store that that they had, child. He mad and he's salty. Once again, Tisha is, you know, to be damned at fault because she's connected with this bimbo. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even Tisha that's with the funny stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's more so. And it's like, why are you doing all this? Y'all came into season 6 having a conversation with Carlos that y'all was going to have a truce. Everybody was going to get along. No ill talking about each other, this, that, and the third. And you were the first person to break that and to start the mess all over again. You are a little woman, a little sassy tampon wearing woman. Like, does your cycle last 3 days, 5, or 7? Like, please tell me. Oh my God. So Nell caught that he was shading Mel, and we all caught that he was shading Mel. And it's like, how you gonna shade somebody that got more going for them than you? And why are you shading a woman? Oh, I forgot because he won too. I mean, look at his titties. His titties about the same size as mine. But okay. So he then says that Maurice, Stormy, and the Scotts have businesses, but leaves out the Holtz on purpose. And Nell and Chris call him out like, don't front like they ain't have businesses, like they ain't put you on. Like, let's not do this, my love. Marceau was like, well, where are they now? And Nell was like, that was a little low. Okay, like low. And what you mean, where are they at now? Mel has her businesses going, so that where are they now goes to y'all homeboy Martell. And then y'all want to act like you wasn't working at a movie theater, fat and overweight and ugly. Didn't at some point they like lived with Melody and them at one point? Like, stop acting like y'all been that and y'all ain't. Like, stop. So then here come Tisha out of nowhere asking Nell, have they ever dealt with infidelity in their marriage? And she was like, yes, we have, open and honest about it. And Marceau quickly shut that down. He didn't want to have that conversation, child. He's sick of it and over it. And I was shocked that she even brought that up. Like, where'd that come from? It's something you want to tell us, Tisha? Like, Oh, okay. So then Tiffany and Stormy arrive at her baby reveal, and child, ain't nothing done. The party planner ain't got the balloons up. The food ain't ready. Ain't nothing ready at the venue. Let me tell you something. Everybody would have got cussed out. And y'all doing this for free because ain't nothing done. Y'all either gonna give me 50% off or something because this is unacceptable. I don't give a fuck about no goddamn rain. Girl, it's rain. They ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Y'all should have been had this done. No. So Kimmy and Mel arrive and the decor still ain't done. Mel speaks to Stormy and Stormy act like she ain't hear her at first. I was like, girl, grow up with them cankles. Stop. So Tiffany tells Mel that the last time she saw Tisha, she questioned her about why she wasn't asked to participate in the expo. And Stormy was like, based on how it turned out, I could have been in the front row with Tiffany. It was a ish show, especially when you get into it over $100 for a booth. And Mel was like, who you get into it with? And Stormy was like, Marceau. She was like, you did good with taking baby steps. Oh, now y'all see why Mel don't want to fool with him, aka them, because they messy. So Kimmy tells them that she found out after the fact that they ended up paying $100 for their booth too. And so everybody really looking like, oh, so Marceau was really on some shiesty stuff. So Nell arrives and she and Mel sit down and have a little one-on-one, and she tells Mel that she talked to the Scotts about the expo. And Mel was like, did y'all get everything cleared up? She wasn't being funny, And Nell was like, well, Tisha wants to move forward, but she doesn't know how she feels about letting me in because of my friendship with you. And Mel was like, our friendship didn't have any bearings when you all went and patronized their businesses and hang out at their establishment. They didn't put you out because you're friends with me, right? So it sounds like some BS. And once again, I agree. Because, this is business. You asking them to be a part of the expo ain't got nothing to do about friendship with somebody that you have, friction with. This is business at the end of the day. Make it make sense. Everything that they say does not make sense for the reason why they move the way that they do. And Mel continues to make them look stupid over and over again. So then Nell was like, we got into the conversation of who spoke at the event and who didn't speak. And he brought up how he felt like he shouldn't have to pay anybody to speak, especially you all. He didn't think you all were professional enough. And he specifically said if anybody was going to get paid, it should have been Maurice or either Stormy because their business has been open longer. Now, I saw a lot of people on social media saying that Nell was being messy and being the bone carrier. I don't think that she was being a bone carrier. Of course, she gonna go back and tell Mel what was said about her. And let's not forget, this is a reality show at the end of the day. But of course, she was gonna go back and tell Mel what was said. Of course. And she didn't make it seem like it was all Tisha or anything like that. She said who said what. You know what I'm saying? So, now if she start getting into a bunch of other stuff, then I'm gonna start side-eyeing her, okay? Let me keep it a buck. So Mel was like, if we're going to not throw jabs, then let's not throw jabs because we all can throw some jabs. I can say I don't want to be on stage or participate in an expo with people calling themselves business people who have a $5-point-something million lawsuit for fraud. How about that? And she was like, and truth be told, I've been running the business since 2008. Why are you so worried about my coins? Why? Just be happy of the coins I'm putting in your pocket because I had a dream and a vision. Ooh, I had a vision of love. You better tell them. She was like, just say thank you. Like, hush. Last I checked, they have t-shirts that say black on the front. I put several checks in their pocket. I think it's so pathetic and absurd for these men, these black men, to continue to try to belittle and attack black women that they see being successful. And seen. Read them for filth. And I can't wait for next week's episode for her to say it to his face. Because, baby, I turn more so up if I was on that show. He'll be every little woman in The Notebook because he is just such a biz naive. Like, girl, it's not cute. The attention seeking. Gross. Stop trying to make fetch a thing. It's not going to happen, Gretchen. Like, girl, please stop. Overall, though, I'm going to give this week's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. It was a shade fest, this episode. I'm going to give it a B-. It was good. It was good. Next week episode look like it's going to pick back up again. But it was very good. Marceau once again made a fool out of himself like he always does. And I really hope at this reunion, Stormy and Mel double team him and tear him up at the reunion, child. And I hope Kimmy get in there too. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about the episode down below in the comment section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.